Imagine you are at a neighborhood barbecue. The sun is shining. You have a cold drink in one hand and maybe a hot dog in the other hand.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, you are feeling really good. But then a stranger walks up to you.
Oh, no.
Right. They smile and they say 5 very terrifying words. They say, "Tell me about yourself."
Wow. Yeah, that is scary.
Suddenly your mind goes completely blank. You just, stare at your hot dog in pure panic.
That is a very funny picture.
Mm.
But it is also a very real fear,
It really is.
Those 5 words can make anyone feel anxious, especially if you're speaking in a new language.
Okay, so let's unpack this today. Welcome to our deep dive. Our mission today is to fix this problem together.
Exactly. We're going to build a simple, clear movie script for your life.
A movie script. I like that. So you always know exactly what to say.
Right.
And before we start, I want to say something to you, our listener. Since many of you are learning English right now, we are going to keep our pace very relaxed today.
Yes. We will speak slowly.
Yeah.
And we will speak very clearly.
We want to help you practice. We are talking about a big psychological challenge, but we will use simple words to do it.
That is a great plan. Learning how to introduce yourself is a journey. And we are very happy to walk this path with you.
So let's start with the panic. Why did that man with the hot dog feel so afraid? Why did his brain just stop working?
Well, it is interesting.
I have felt this way before. It feels like my brain is totally empty.
Right? Right.
Or sometimes it is the exact opposite. It feels like a big, noisy cloud.
Yes. A big cloud.
I think about my family, my job, my favorite coffee, my dog, all at the exact same time. It is just too much information to share.
What's fascinating here is that your brain is experiencing something called choice paralysis.
Choice paralysis, what does that mean?
It means you have too many choices. When you have too many options, your brain, it does not know how to choose.
Oh, I see.
Think about a huge grocery store. If there are 50 kinds of jam on the shelf, you might just get confused and buy nothing.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes. When someone asks, "Where are you from?"
Yeah.
there is only one fact to give. It is very easy.
Right. Just one answer.
But tell me about yourself has no rules. It is a completely blank page.
A blank page.
You have to choose from thousands of facts about your whole life. And that is why your brain freezes. It just cannot filter the information fast enough.
So we need to make the choices smaller. We need to take away the big empty page, right?
Exactly. We need to give the brain a simple map.
And in our sources today, there is a very easy 3-step formula to fix this problem.
Yes, the 3-step formula. It is perfect for basic everyday introductions.
So step 1, your name and your location.
Right.
Step 2, your job or your study.
Yes. And step 3, a hobby.
Name, job, hobby, just 3 pieces of information.
It gives your brain strong boundaries. You do not have to search your whole life story. You just follow the 3 steps.
But wait, I want to push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
What if my life is complicated? What if I am between jobs right now?
That is okay.
Or what if I am a stay-at-home parent? Are 3 steps really enough to explain who I am? It just feels too short.
That is a very common worry. But, you have to remember the goal. People do not actually want to hear your whole life story.
They don't.
No, they just want a small, clear picture of who you are today. If you do not have a traditional job, that is completely fine. You just focus on your current focus.
So instead of explaining a long, complicated history,
Right.
I just focus on my life right now.
Exactly. You can simply say, "I am looking for new opportunities in marketing."
Okay.
Or, "I'm a full-time parent." Or even, "I am studying English." You do not need to explain the hard parts.
You just give them a starting point.
Yes. Let's look at a perfect, simple example from our sources. Listen to this.
Okay, I am listening.
"Hi, I'm Emily. I'm originally from Canada. I'm a nurse, and I love listening to live music."
Oh, wow. Let me break that down. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm originally from Canada. That is step 1.
Yes.
I am a nurse. That is step 2. And I love listening to live music. That is step 3. That whole introduction takes less than 10 seconds to say.
Less than 10 seconds. It is fast, it is clear, and it gives the other person just enough information to start a conversation.
So as you listen to us right now, try to build your own 3 steps in your head.
Yes, think about it.
What is your name and where are you from? What is your current focus, like a job or a class?
And what is one thing you love doing?
Right. Just hold those 3 thoughts in your mind.
Once you have those 3 steps, you have a basic script. You are already prepared for most casual situations.
But there is a catch.
There is always a catch.
Yes. We must remember that where you say your introduction completely changes how you should say it.
That is true.
Think about your clothes, right? You would not wear a swimsuit to an important business meeting.
No, that would be a disaster.
A big disaster. In the same way, you cannot use a relaxed, casual introduction at a serious job interview. The stakes are very different.
That is exactly right. We need to read the room. Let's talk about informal situations first.
Okay. Informal means casual, low-stress places, like a party.
Or a neighborhood barbecue. Or meeting a friend of a friend. In these situations, nobody wants a long, serious speech.
No, they don't.
You can just use casual greetings like hi or hey there, and then use your simple 3-step formula.
Okay, that makes sense for the barbecue. But what if we change the location?
Okay.
What if we are sitting in a quiet office with a manager? Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yes. The interview.
Our sources tell a story about a man named David. David went to a big job interview. The manager smiled and asked, "Tell me about yourself."
And what did David do?
David started his story from the day he was born in a small hospital.
Oh, no. Poor David.
He talked about his childhood, his high school, his first bicycle, everything.
That is a very big mistake. In a formal situation, the rules change completely.
Right.
The manager does not want to know about your childhood. The manager has a business problem, and they want to know if you can fix it.
Yes, the stakes are high. You are trying to show you are a skilled professional. You are not trying to be a new best friend.
Exactly. So how do we adapt our script for the boardroom?
Well, the sources provide a wonderful strategy for formal interviews.
Yes, they do.
Instead of the simple 3-step formula, you use the timeline formula.
The timeline formula.
Yes. Present, past, future.
Present, past, future. Can we walk through that step by step with an example?
Certainly. First, you start with the present. This is what you are doing right now, today.
Right.
For example, you could say, currently, I am an account manager at a software company.
Okay, so I establish my current professional value. Then what?
Second, you move to the past, but not your childhood.
Right, no bicycles.
No bicycles. You mentioned a little bit of recent relevant experience. You could say, before this, I worked in customer service for 3 years, where I learned how to handle difficult clients.
Oh, that is very smart.
Yeah.
You're proving that you have a history of doing good work.
Yes. And finally, the future.
The future.
You tell them exactly why you are sitting in the interview chair today.
How do you do that?
For example, now, I am looking to bring my communication skills to a larger team like yours.
Let me put that all together so we can hear how it sounds.
Please do.
Currently, I am an account manager at a software company. Before this, I worked in customer service for 3 years, where I learned how to handle difficult clients. Now, I am looking to bring my communication skills to a larger team like yours.
Wow. Right. It sounds incredibly confident.
It really does. It tells a complete professional story. It shows you have a clear career path. And most importantly, it stops talking at the right time.
Stopping at the right time is so important. I know many people just keep talking because they're nervous.
Very true.
Now, while we are talking about interviews and meeting new people, I want to bring up a cultural difference from the sources.
Oh, this is a great point.
In some cultures around the world, talking about yourself this much feels very uncomfortable.
Yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we see that cultures handle introductions very differently.
How so?
Well, in many places, it is considered polite to wait. You wait for someone to ask you a specific question about your job or your family.
Right.
If you just start talking about your skills, people might think you are boasting, showing off.
It feels arrogant to them. But in English-speaking cultures like the United States or the UK, the rules are different, aren't they?
Very different. In these cultures, silence often makes people feel nervous.
Nervous, really?
Yes. When someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," they are not giving you a test. They are giving you an invitation.
An invitation. I really like that word.
Yes. They are inviting you to help them. They want to find a connection with you, but they do not know where to start.
Oh, I see.
So by sharing a few clear details about yourself, you are actually being polite. You are giving them a gift.
A gift.
You're giving them a topic to talk about, so the conversation does not die in silence.
That completely changes how I view the situation. It is not about showing off. It is about helping the other person feel comfortable talking to you.
Exactly.
That is a huge relief. Okay, so that present, past, future timeline works perfectly for a serious office.
Yes, it does.
But if David tried that serious timeline at our casual neighborhood barbecue,
Oh, no.
he would ruin the party mood instantly. It is way too serious.
Way too serious.
So let's go back to the casual party. I want to talk about step 3 of our simple formula, the hobby.
Ah, yes, the hobby.
Why do we even include a hobby? Why not just give the facts?
What do you mean?
Well, why not just say, I am an accountant from Texas, and leave it at that? It is fast, and it is true.
It is true. But facts alone do not build relationships. The sources call the hobby the hook.
The hook.
Yes, it is the most important part of a casual conversation.
Explain how the hook works. Why does an accountant from Texas need to talk about their weekends?
Let's use a metaphor. Imagine a conversation is like a house.
Okay, a house.
If you just state a dry fact, like I am an accountant, you are standing in front of a closed door.
A closed door.
The other person looks at the closed door, says, oh, that is nice, and walks away. There is nowhere to go.
I have absolutely done this. I give a fact, the other person nods, and then we just stand there in awkward silence.
Yes,
I close the door.
you did. But when you share a hobby, you open the door a little bit. You invite the other person to step inside your world.
Give me an example.
Let's look at a great example from our research. Imagine a man at the barbecue says, I work in finance, but my real passion is baking fresh bread.
Baking bread, that is definitely an open door.
Yes. Honestly, nobody at a party wants to talk about finance spreadsheets. It is a very closed door.
Very closed.
But everyone eats food. Everyone loves the smell of fresh bread. By saying he bakes bread, he gives the other person an easy way to step into the conversation.
Right. The other person can say, wow, what kind of bread do you bake?
Exactly. Or is it hard to make sourdough? Suddenly, you are not two awkward strangers. You are two people having a real conversation.
But I want to be honest here. What if you, our listener, think your hobbies are just not that interesting?
That is a fair question.
What if you do not bake beautiful bread or climb dangerous mountains? What if your favorite thing to do on a Sunday is just sleep or watch a comedy show on TV?
That is totally fine.
Do you need to invent a fake, exciting hobby?
Absolutely not. You should never invent a fake hobby. The goal is not to prove you're the most exciting action hero in the room.
Good.
The goal is simply to show your human side.
So a simple hobby is okay.
Yes. Saying simple everyday things is perfectly fine because they are relatable. You can say, I work in retail and on the weekends, I love watching funny movies on Netflix.
Or you can say, I am a student and my favorite thing to do is find the best cup of coffee in the city.
Exactly.
Really, just drinking coffee is enough of a hook.
Yes, because it is an open door. If you say you love finding new coffee shops, the other person can easily say, oh, I love coffee too. Have you tried the new cafe on Main Street?
You have made a connection.
Yes. Remember, people just want to talk to someone who is friendly and relaxed. You do not need to be a mountain climber to be a good friend.
That makes me feel so much better. I can just be myself. I can say I love eating pizza on Fridays, and that is a perfectly fine answer.
It is a great answer.
Okay, so now we have the psychology figured out. We know exactly what to say, we know how to change our script for a party or an interview,
Right.
and we know how to leave the door open with a hobby. Now it is time to polish the details.
Yes. Polishing the grammar is the final step. When you feel confident about your grammar, your words flow much more easily.
You do not have to stop and think about every single word.
Exactly.
Let's start with a massive trap that so many beginners fall into. I hear this mistake all the time.
Which one?
It is about age. In many languages, people say, I have 25 years.
Oh, yes. This is one of the most common mistakes.
Hmm?
And it is very easy to understand why it happens.
Why is that?
Well, in languages like Spanish or French, you use the verb to have for age. You hold the years, like you hold a book or a hot dog.
Right. You possess the years. But in English, we do not say I have. We say I am. Why is English different?
Because in English, we view age as a state of being, not an object.
State of being.
Yes, you cannot put a year in your pocket. You do not carry the years with you. You are the sum of your years.
You are the sum of your years. That is a really beautiful way to think about it.
Thank you.
So we must use the verb to be. I am, you are, he is. You must say, I am 25. Or, I am 25 years old.
Exactly.
Let me say that clearly for everyone listening. Please do not say I have 25 years. Say, I am 25.
Making that one small change makes your English sound instantly more natural to a native speaker.
Okay, here is another trap. This one causes a lot of confusion during introductions. It is the question, what do you do?
Ah, yes.
When beginners hear this, they often think the person's asking, what action are you doing right this second?
I have seen this happen. Someone asks, what do you do? And the person answers, I am standing here talking to you.
Or, I am drinking a glass of water. It makes sense why they think that. The words sound very similar, but it creates a very funny situation. How do we explain the difference simply?
It's all about the grammar tense. When someone asks, what do you do? Using the present simple tense, they are asking about your general routine.
Your general routine.
Yes, in an introduction, this always means, what is your profession? They want to know your job.
So if they ask what you do, the correct answer is your job. I am a teacher. I am an engineer. I am looking for work.
Correct. Now, if they actually want to know what action you are performing right this second, they will use a different tense.
Which tense?
They will use the present continuous tense, which ends in ing. They will ask, what are you doing?
What do you do means what is your job? What are you doing? With the ing means what action are you taking right now?
Yes.
That is a great rule to remember. Listening carefully to the end of the question is the key.
It is. Once you hear the difference, you will never fall into that trap again.
Now, I have a question about our speaking style.
Sure, go ahead.
When I practice my introduction, I want to sound as professional and smart as possible.
Of course.
To do that, shouldn't I pronounce every single word perfectly separately? Shouldn't I say, I am Emily, I do not like sports, I cannot play tennis?
Oh, please do not do that.
No.
No. That is what language teachers call the robot trap.
The robot trap.
Yes. When you refuse to combine words, you sound very stiff and unnatural. You sound like a machine reading a textbook.
Oh, I see.
In natural English, we use contractions constantly. Contractions are when we push two words together to make them shorter.
Like what?
I am becomes I'm, do not becomes don't, cannot becomes can't.
So it is better to say, I'm Emily and I don't like sports.
That's better. Native speakers use contractions because they save time and they sound friendly.
Friendly. That is important.
Yes. If you say, I do not, it sounds very serious and cold. If you say, I don't, it sounds warm and human. Do not be afraid of contractions. They make you sound fluent.
I love that advice. Use short words to sound more human. Let's look at one more phrase we can smooth out. Sometimes, when talking about their home country, a beginner will say, I am born in Brazil.
Right.
It is not terrible, people will understand, but how can we make that sound smoother?
Instead of focusing on the past event of your birth, focus on your origin. You can smoothly say, I'm originally from.
I'm originally from.
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, I'm originally from Brazil, but now I live in London.
I'm originally from. That rolls off the tongue very nicely.
It does.
Let's practice our casual 3-step script one last time using all these natural, smooth tips.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Paul. I'm originally from Canada. I'm a teacher, and on the weekends, I love watching scary movies.
That is excellent. It is short, it uses contractions, and it leaves the door wide open for me to ask you about your favorite scary movie.
We have covered so much valuable ground today. We moved from panic to preparation.
We really did.
Now, we want to give you, the listener, a way to take action today. We want you to practice your new casual script out loud.
Yes. And our sources shared a fantastic tip for this. The mirror test.
The mirror test. How does that work?
It is highly effective. You simply stand in front of a mirror in your home, you look yourself in the eyes, and you say your 3-step introduction out loud.
But the most important part of the mirror test is not just speaking. You must smile while you do it.
Yes, smile.
This is a physical trick. Why is smiling so important? Because smiling actually changes the physical shape of your mouth.
Right.
Which changes the tone of your voice.
Yeah.
When you smile, your voice automatically sounds warmer and friendlier.
It is a proven fact.
Yeah.
People can actually hear a smile in your voice, even if they are talking to you on the telephone and cannot see your face.
So practice with a big smile. And as you practice, I want to remind you of our favorite rule here.
What is that?
Perfection is never the goal. Connection is the goal.
That is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
If you use the wrong verb or if you forget a word, the sky will not fall down.
No, it won't.
The other person is not grading you with a red pen. If they understand your meaning and you understand theirs, the communication is a total success.
Connection, not perfection. Be brave, leave the door open, and try. Before we finish our deep dive today, do you have a final thought for our listener to take with them?
I do. We started this conversation by talking about the fear of the blank page, the fear of having no rules.
Right.
But I want you to change how you look at that blank page. The next time someone asks, tell me about yourself, do not view it as a terrifying test you can fail.
Okay.
What if, instead, you see that blank page as a beautiful invitation?
A beautiful invitation.
Yes, an invitation to paint exactly the version of yourself that you want the world to see today.
That is wonderful. So what does this all mean for you? It means you are ready. You never have to stare at a hot dog in panic ever again.
No more hot dog panic.
You have your script, you know how to read the room, you have your smile, and you are ready to introduce yourself to the world. Thank you so much for joining our deep dive today.
Keep practicing, everyone.
Keep leaving those doors open, and we will talk to you next time.